What we've got is the Maximus-3. I think it's called a winch guard, that's what I'm calling it, but it's the 3 hoop. And as you saw in one of our other videos, got this on Marketplace, and this sucker feels sturdy. It's all open piping, and it just bolts right on. So I'll kind of go through what we get in the packing, which is pretty much this, and the hardware, and some spacers, I believe, which I already think I know where they go. We'll show you where all that goes here in a second. I'm pretty excited to get this hoop winch guard installed on the OEM bumper of my 22 Gladiator. It's hollow on this one, so maybe some good wiring options, keeping that in mind for the future. But it just bolts right to your OEM Gladiator bumper. We'll kind of get that started, show you how it goes, and if you got any questions, please let us know in the comments. Alright, so this is my pretty much on-the-go kit for my Jeep with all the basic tools that you need: screwdrivers, wrenches, torque sets, ratchets, things like that. So today I'm just going to pick out a couple things we're going to need. Some Torx, obviously, a ratchet, and then an extension if you want it, but I don't think we're going to need it. Grab it just in case. So now that we've got all these tools, all we need is the ratchet and a Torx 45 pretty much for this job. Right here. If you have a Jeep, the Torx 45 is pretty much one of the main Torx bits you're going to use to remove anything off of those bumpers or some of the side panels and cowlings to run wiring. So this is pretty common. If you don't have a Torx set, I would pick one up. Since we bought this used, it didn't come with the instruction manual. I think it'll be pretty easy, but just looking at the mounts that the bumper has, we're going to have to remove both of these guys on each side, and then this one on each side. And then there's these little shims that I believe will go here because of the difference in the divot here. And I don't know if we're gonna have to take this off yet or not. I'm gonna leave it on, but I'll let you know if we had to take it off on the end. Maybe if Santa behind the camera there would get me a nice Ryobi powered ratchet. 3/8, that'd be nice.
I don't even know what you're saying.
Just remember, Ryobi powered ratchet, 3/8. Not a quarter. Not anything else.
Is that the Jeep size, like for these bolts?
No, I bought a 3/8 ratchet set. So basically, this thing right here is 3/8. You can get them in quarter, which I also have a 1/4 inch set. But instead of me using muscles over here to get these through, you just get a powered one. And so then these 3/8 size bits would just fit to it. Okay. And then they come off. While we're talking about Santa here, I've already got one bolt off, so hopefully this will go pretty easy. As you can see, we got these two off. Initially, I didn't think we needed to take this off, but just looking at the way it mounts, I think we will have to take it off. These 3 here will still keep this winch plate, since we don't have a winch attached, intact, so we shouldn't have any issues with that. Plus, if I start to hear rattling, I'll try and figure out another solution. This will have to come off, so we're going to go ahead and take it off. Alright, so now that we've got all the Torx bolts out, we're just going to do a quick dry fit, make sure it fits right, make sure we don't have anything we're missing. And then the other thing is obviously make sure you're not mounting it on backwards. I'm sure you'll have some issues, but make sure it's facing forward. That lines up good. Try not to do too much moving here. Don't want to scratch the OEM bumper. But man, that looks good. Just sitting there. That's awesome. I think it was a good call to take those that extra 3rd one out. I don't think it would fit, and it definitely seals a lot better. So, all right, yeah, cool.
So how do you attach it? You use the same screws?
We use the same screws, but there's an extra long one that they provided, I think, for the ends here, and there'll be a shim that I'll show you here in a second, but we're gonna put that in here just because there's a gap. So yeah, we just use the same ones except for the ones that were provided, I think. And should just be pretty easy if I'm being honest. So when we took these 2 bolts off, I kind of noticed, you kind of hear that, the clips that the bolts actually thread into, obviously we're taking the bolts out, so those clips are going to stay there if we don't remove them. You can hear that rattle. We don't want that when we're driving, don't want any scraping underneath, causes rust, but honestly I just want to take them off because they'll cause that rattle. So we're just taking these 3 bolts off so I can get access to this plate, take them off, and we'll reinstall it. It'll be pretty quick. Trying to do this without scratching the bumper. There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, so like I said, see these clips right here? We're gonna keep these on because we're gonna have to mount this back. But we wanna take these off because that's causing that rattle. If we're driving along, you'll hear that rattle as you're driving. So
you're just taking them off?
Yeah, they're just clips. You know, I get a screwdriver on the inside here. Should be able to pull them off, but they've been indented. Yeah, I'll get a screwdriver. But since we got it off, I mean, we could just go down and get a winch real quick, because that's what this is for, is to plug up the hole for a winch.
You're going to have to look on Facebook.
Just saying. Now that we got this back on, you can hear no more rattle. All right, and so you're going to take this one on the left, and with this curve going inward, you're going to mount this on the left, and it'll match up with the actual 3 hoop. And then over here on the other side, same thing. You'll take this guy and mount it just like that. And that just gives it a little bit of spacing in between the actual 3 hoop and the OEM bumper. And it just fills that spacing. And with this guy and the other one in place, let's go ahead and start putting the 3 hoop on there and start bolting it down. Put it on. It was just taking those bolts off, keeping this from rattling, and then throwing the bolts back on with this. The mounting hardware didn't have to be any different, so you can just use the mounting hardware that's already on your bumper. And like I said, it was really easy. Overall, I really like the way it looks. It definitely has a forward-leaning stance, and when you look at it from the front, it's got this aggressive look to it, which I really like. And overall, yeah, I think it's a really good product. I'm very happy with Maximus and all the stuff that they're putting out. And hopefully one day we'll get a winch thrown in here and add further to the capability of the ring. But yeah, I like it. Alright folks, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Ba-bam! What's mommy doing? Can you say dada? Dada.
Mama.
Dada.
Mama.
If you're wondering, this is a Wild Willys, not the 2, the original one. This thing was built probably in the 80s. Definitely before the 90s, but most likely the 80s. My dad built this as his first RC or one of his first RCs, and I just think this thing is so cool. It does run, but because it's from the 80s, I don't like taking it out because I don't want it to break. But maybe this is some of the inspiration behind the Gladiator. Who knows?